Hello, my dear people. Today we'll be looking at the lab Train Custom ML Models on Vertex AI. Once your lab is ready, let's go ahead and open the GCP console. This will take about 20 seconds to load. Make sure you open it in a new incognito window. If you are asked for any terms and service agreements, click Agree and Continue. Now that our GCP console is ready, let's go back to the lab and check what our first task is. So let's scroll down below. We see our first task is to create the cloud storage bucket. So let's go back to the console. Let's go ahead and activate the Google Cloud Shell. This is going to ask you to continue. Let's wait a couple of minutes. It'll ask for authorization. Go ahead and authorize. It should take around 10 seconds for the shell to get provisioned. Once this is provisioned, let's go ahead and paste the command to create the cloud storage bucket. You can find all the commands within GitHub, and you can find the GitHub link in the description of the video. So let's go ahead and paste the first command. Once we are done, let's come back and check progress. So we see that this is completed. Now our task 2 is to deploy an AI workbench. So let's come back to our console. Let's close gcloud. Now on the search bar, let's type Vertex AI Workbench. So here we see the Workbench option. Let's go ahead and select the Workbench. The interface will take half a minute to load. Once the Workbench interface is loaded, let's go ahead and click Create New. Here, let's go back to our lab and check the name. So let's copy the name required for the workbench, come back to the console, and paste the name. We also have to check for the zone. So here we have US Central 1B. So let's go ahead and select US Central 1B as well, and go ahead and create the workbench. The creation of workbench will take up to 3 minutes. So I'll go ahead and forward until the workbench is completed. It should take up to 5 minutes. You can wait until then and come back.
Now, you see the workbench is created. Next step is to go ahead and click Open the Jupyter Lab. This will take a couple of minutes to load. Meanwhile, please go ahead and download the Python file from GitHub. Once you see your Jupyter Lab loading, let's go ahead and select a Python 3 terminal. Now, from here, we'll have to paste the second command, which is on the GitHub, within the commands.md file. Run this command, and it will copy a workbook into your workbench. Once we see this file is loaded, let's go back to our lab and check progress. So since we have already deployed, let's check progress. So this is complete, and we have also done the task 3, which is to copy the notebook within Jupyter Lab. So here, let's check progress. We can see this step is completed as well. Now, our task 4 is to create a Vertex AI tabular dataset. So for this, let's go ahead and upload the code file we downloaded. You can download the code file from the GitHub link in the description. So once you download it, go ahead and upload the same file here. So once you have uploaded the file, let's go ahead and select it. Now, we will run the cells in this notebook one by one. So once we run the first cell, it should download a lot of requirements. This will take a minute. At the end of the requirements, you'll see a little warning, which is okay, you can ignore it. Once all of the download is complete, it will ask for a kernel restart. You can go ahead and click OK. So this should restart your kernel. Now, let's go ahead and run the cells one by one. You can click Shift plus Enter to run. Next, we have to add the region. For the region, make sure you go back to your lab and check what region your lab requires. So here we can see it says US Central 1. Let's go ahead and copy, paste, and then run this cell. Next, we'll go back and take the cloud storage bucket, which we had created in the first step. So I'll copy this and paste it as the bucket name and run this cell as well. Next, we will run the cells one by one. We'll run the next cell. So you will see a lot of warnings when you run this cell. You can ignore it, don't worry. So our next task here, after we initialize the BigQuery client, is to create a Vertex AI tabular dataset. We'll run all the cells one by one. If you see warnings, you can ignore it. So here, for creating tabular dataset, make sure you replace all variables according to your lab. You have to change the BigQuery dataset name. You have to change the BigQuery table name as well. So let's go ahead and change the required dataset name. Let's go ahead and change the BigQuery table name as well. We also have to change the display name of tabular dataset according to our lab. So let's go back and copy that and paste it in the display name options. Once you have changed all the variables according to your lab, you can go ahead and run this as well. This will start the creation of tabular datasets. The creation of tabular datasets will take some time. Here, it already says it can take few minutes for the tablet dataset to be created, so I'll go ahead and forward until it's created. This should take up to 5 minutes. You can wait until then and come back. Now we see that the tabular dataset is created. Let's go back to our lab and check progress. It should say that this step is completed.
Our next task is to train the model. Now we'll go back to our code and run all the cells one by one again. We'll run the first cell, we'll run the second cell. Now, when you reach the third cell, you have to make a lot of changes. You have to add the variables in your lab. So let's go ahead and change all the variables according to our lab. We have to change the job name. We have to change the model name as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's change the job name. Let's change the model name as well. So once this is done, we can go ahead and run. So let's run the cell. So this will show that this training has started. So you can go ahead and click the link where it will show the training status. It will show that the training is in progress. Training completion will take up to 15 minutes. You see that training is in progress. Once the training is complete, you will see something like this, that the custom training job is completed. Once we see something like this in our Python notebook, let's go ahead and check progress in the lab. We can check both of the progress here, and it should tell it's completed. Now the next task is to deploy the model at the model endpoint, so we'll run the further cells within. In our Python file, we have to also make sure we change the variables here. So we have to take the custom training endpoint from our lab instructions. So let's copy-paste it from our lab. Once we copy-paste it, we'll have to run the cell. So let's go ahead and run the cell. So it will say that creating endpoint creation will take 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going ahead and fast-forwarding until endpoint is created. Once the endpoint is created, let's go ahead and run the next cell. Here, again, we have to change few variables. So let's go ahead and take the variables from our lab and put it into our cell. We'll also have to replace the model name in the filter before we run this. Make sure to replace the model name in the filter. So once you run this, this will take up to 10 to 12 minutes to get deployed. To check the deployment status, you can come to Vertex AI, go to Endpoints, you can click the particular endpoint, and here you will see the status of the deployment. Deployment of this model will take up to 20 minutes, so you can take rest and come back. Now we see that the model is ready. You'll also see that the model says deployed here in the notebook. So once this is done, let's go ahead and check progress. This step is completed. You can also see on the sidebar that we see 90 out of 100 for the completion of the lab. Let's go to the top. We need only 80% or more. We have more than 80%. So congratulations, we have completed this lab. You can go ahead and end it.